Beautiful ladies and gentlemen, mabibi na mabwana, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Two Wheels Paradise. As usual, Meshak here, and today we are out again with our brand new bike. This is the fourth bike, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth bike I am breaking in. And when I say break in, I mean ride that bike from zero to the first 1,000 kilometers properly to guarantee the life of that engine. This is the fourth bike. We started with a Tekken 250. We had the Voge 525. We had the Tekken 200 Discovery. And today we have the Voge Rare 300. Rare 300. A very beautiful bike. Properly designed off-road bike. And the purpose of this video is something I always do. The first 100 kilometers. I always want to give my feedback, my feeling, my thoughts after riding a motorcycle for the first 100 kilometers. Within 100 kilometers, you're supposed to tell if a bike is in good shape, if the bike is good mechanically, if the assembly was done properly, and you can also start to anticipate what the bike is going to look like in the near future. If something is feeling loose, feeling horrible, you can tell in the first 100 kilometers. And that's why I always do a video about the first 100 kilometers review. It's a comprehensive review of my feelings, my thoughts, and what I expect the bike to become. This is an off-road bike. It's an off-road bike. Proper off-road bike. And when I say proper, I mean it. The design, the power delivery, the stability, the suspension. This is a proper combination of a good off-road bike. And there is nowhere better to tell than a condition like this in a quarry. It's a good bike. From the first 100 kilometers I have had it. To start with, the bike is quite tall. As you can see, it is tall. And I know from the videos and from the photos it looks like a small bike, but it is not. Trust me, it is not a small bike. Yeah, it is not a small bike. It is not. It is feeling a little bit heavier than what I was expecting. I was expecting the bike to be a little bit lighter. But now after handling it both on the highway and in some places like this one, I can tell you the bike is not so light. It has some good weight for stability purposes. But it is not so heavy for you to ride. It is actually way lighter than most dual sports. But from the look of things, you can tell it is a light bike. But when you handle it, it has some weight. Compared to the Tekken 200 Discovery that I had a few weeks ago, this one is a bit heavier. From the books, they say it's about 158 kilos. Yeah, you can give it plus or minus, but it's somewhere around there. And most dual sports go to around 135, 140. So this has some extra 10, 15 to 20 kilos somehow of some extra weight. It is an EFI, so power delivery is so smooth, and it is also liquid cooled. It is liquid cooled. It has two radiators, one here, the other one here. Yeah, one here, the other one here. Most dual sports that have water cooled engines come with two pieces of radiator because they don't want to put a radiator here. They don't want to put a whole radiator on this place, because it can get hit by locks from the front wheel. Also, it is going to complicate the bike design because you see this frame, this. If you have to put one single piece of radiator, it will have to come in front here. Yeah, and then you can see this mud guard. It is going to complicate issues here. That's the reason why they always opt for two pieces. First, and then the other one. It is just for design purposes. They don't want to have a bike that is not practical. Being liquid cooled means you have some better cooling. Whether you are riding slowly, whether you are fast, you have some better cooling, definitely. We have done 130 kilometers so far. From yesterday when I picked this bike, we have done 130 kilometers. We are somewhere in Thika, behind the Del Monte pineapple plantations. And I was coming here to actually see how good this bike will feel when subjected to some long stretches of off-road. These tires are good. They are handling off-road properly. What I don't know is how good they are going to handle the highways when I start traveling for long distance. I'm not sure about that one. I don't like to speculate things. We'll wait for that time and then we can tell. Suspension, perfect for off-road. For the little highway I have done, the bike is feeling a little bit powerful. Yeah, you can keep up with the traffic. Although right now I'm not pushing it. I'm actually trying so hard to contain the bike below 90 kph because we are in the process of braking. The first around 800 to 1000 kilometers are very, very important for any engine. For the first 100 kilometers, my feeling is awesome. The bike is right in terms of handling it off-road. That weight feels balanced. The weight feels balanced. Yeah. Even if I told you earlier that it is heavier than what I was expecting, it is still light because 150 something kilos compared to what I've been handling my old Honda, around 200 kilos. So for me, I can say it is right. The bike is good for beginners. Doesn't have a lot of power to scare a beginner. Doesn't have a lot of power to scare beginners. So if you're thinking of a good bike to start with, this one is going to be good for you. Good for beginners. Doesn't have a lot of power. Doesn't have a lot of power to scare you. No, not really. Something I'm loving is the fact that this bike is slim. Can you see how slim this bike is? The bike is quite slim. And when you're riding while standing, you have a lot of room here. You are not so attached to the bike. You are feeling free. And this is something I love. You're feeling free when you're riding while standing. You're feeling free. So that you can be able to maneuver the bike off-road. Very, very important. So the design for this one, something awesome. I want you to do this. Go to the internet. Definitely, I'm very sure you have access to it. That's how you're watching my videos. Go to Google and search for a bike called Honda CRF 300. And if possible, on this website, the YouTube, search for a lady called Boots. She's a very, very famous world tour traveler, and she travels on a bike called Honda CRF 300 Rally. That bike looks exactly like this one. Exactly like this one. Exactly. And when I say exactly, I mean copy to copy. Honda CRF 300, Voge Rally 300, almost the same thing. In design, that is. In design, it's almost the same thing. So if that one is able to travel all over the world, I expect this one to do something similar. I expect it to do something similar. I don't know how they got looking almost the same. I don't know. I'm yet to discover that part. I'm actually trying so hard to find that piece of information. Who copied who? Yeah, but never mind. We have a very beautiful bike here. The rear sprocket is quite huge. Quite huge. Increasing torque when you go off-road. It's increasing torque when you go off-road. For now, thank you so much for watching. This is Voge Rally 300. This is Meshach 2 Wheels Paradise. See you around. 130 kilometers. So far so good. If anything goes wrong after this, you can trust me, I'm going to tell you. Very, very honest. See you around.